Hello, guys. So I was asked to talk about Angela in the mono ardor backline. So the very first thing you need to know is that if you're trying to run an ardor goalkeeper, you should really be mono for burst ace for the very simple reason that ardor backlines are currently the weakest backline in the entire game. Whirlwind has VT, Thunder has Glade, Light has Scylla, Dark has Prest, even Zebroik is able to outrank Angela nowadays. So really, Ardor has no really good goalkeeper. Of course, you can tell me that Tehehon is pretty damn great, but to maximize him, you do need a Jiho Duran online, so that really does go out of the mono principle. But again, I would say he has the most potential currently in the Ardor backline, even though he doesn't even have an EE. So when we look at Angela, the main issue that the person was asking me about was the fact that they were having issues with conditional shield. Decrease the inflicted damage when your life is 40%, when your life is 80% or higher. Now, in his specific case, he used a Shu and a Galfin backline. This is not a good idea for the simple reason that if you're using both of them, you're really hurting your survival. So who exactly are we able to run in an Ardor backline? First of all, for obvious reasons, you should have a Death Queen wherever she is, just because you need that elemental thing. It's just obvious. No one's going to be questioning you want to throw a Death Queen. And when you have a Death Queen, you also want a Kevin. There's also Chains of Kevin. So we can completely agree. Quick Start, Decrease, Roast Tactics, Superior Strategy. A lot of Rainbow teams even use Kevin. So overall, those two units need to be in backline. Then you want a healer, and there you have the choice between Galf or Shu. Of course, if you do have Shu, I would advise going for Shu first. Gelf, as much as he's great and currently broken as a 5-star, you can still stick him in midline just to be able to pull off that active. He does have the reflex, he does have the extra action, so overall he can be used there, but in backline, he's really just a replacement for Shu. The reason why we want Shu instead is because Shu's going to be able to generate action bar. You can't have both because then you're going to lack survival. Then you're going to tell me, well, who exactly is left for survival? Well, there are a few options that are out there. It depends, of course, who you have, who's maxed out. An interesting one is Chunbo, just because he's able to have a cool skill that's going to increase the action speed and the max life of Ardor, who's something that Ardor seriously lacks. Plus, he does have an increased critical rate active, who's something that Mono Ardor, aka teams with William, are going to need. Again, if you don't have William, you should not be going Mono Ardor because you want to do it for the burst penetration ace. So Chubo's not bad. Yuri is also a pretty decent option. And I mean, if you really want to, you can throw in an Erica just for, what is that called? Yeah, protection of fire because it's going to buff the entire team. Now, the thing is, if you're Mono Ardor, you should be aware that the game's not going to last long in your favor. So you want to have high penetration, high damage output, and you are waiting to be able to win in 1 or 2 hits. I've played against a few Mono Ardor, and that's usually how it goes down. They either destroy me early, or it's pretty much game over for them. But as long as you're using a William with a burst ace, the penetration, the attack power, you throw in a Renee, and Elaine in front line, it should be completely fine. As long as he's able to crit, he's just going to be able to destroy whatever is in front of him. The only thing is you tend to need to reroll your William for Will of Metatron. Again, if you're not Mono Ardor, I seriously do not advise you to go with an Ardor back. Now, just to look at what stones should one put on an Angela, just because that was also part of the question, if I can find her. This book isn't really logical in my opinion, but you know, we can't really get the books we want. So for Angela, stone-wise, you have really 2 options. One is Dense Magma, but again, if you're Mono Ardor, you don't have Duran. And if you're using Jiho Ace, you're not Mono, so Dense Magma is not the best choice here. You're going to go with POME, the Wormwind DR unique. You're going to go with Dark Lifestone, and Ardor DR. This should be a very standard setup. So I hope this helps you guys understand exactly how it should be run. Using this comp, she would be able to have an affection and a friendship chain. So she gets the defense, she gets the extra life. This is honestly the 2 most important chains for a goalkeeper. And she isn't really a high critical resistance goalkeeper, at least not in Mono Ardor. So overall, this should be pretty fine. If you guys have any comments, questions, write them down in the comments below. Have a good day, guys.